Ladies and gentlemen, I am player 2 of P1 and P2 Gaming, and today I have a very unpopular opinion that I'm gonna fucking share with you motherfuckers who like to play this Fallout 4. After I stop dying, I'm gonna tell you all the negative shit about Fallout 4, and I actually want to let you know that this is not a troll. I'm actually not trolling right now. I'm legitimately disappointed in Fallout 4, and I actually have reasons why, like tangible reasons that you can like investigate for yourself. And all of them pretty much have to do with the lack of role-playing elements in the game. I actually think Fallout 4 fails as a RPG. No joke, it fails as an RPG because it fails to do what its predecessor, well, its sort of predecessor, New Vegas, actually succeeded in doing. It lacks a certain immersion when it comes to your character. Basically, okay, immersion breaker number one. Immersion breaker number one is the fact that you have a voice protagonist and you don't get to choose from a series of voices and a series of personalities. Basically, the dialogue within the game has been dumbed down to accommodate four choices of dialogue. Basically like a Mass Effect system that is watered down and meaningless. Basically, you can't say anything wacky like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you and your children." You can only kind of say something snarky or sarcastic and like dickish and like childish. It feels very weird. It's not like as complex dialogue choices in New Vegas where, say, if you were good at a skill, you could, pass a speech check. Be like, "Oh, I know things about science. Maybe I can help you here." Or, "Oh, I'm a good repairman. I can fix that machine for you." Or in one circumstance, my character had an option to, instead of knocking this guy out with a shock baton, to punch him in the face and knock him out in the dialogue choice. So it way lacks variety from the predecessor Fallout games. Saying something in the other games meant something. In this game, the characters practically go on and say the same things anyhow. I tested this once, I can't remember where or who it was, but I saved the game and loaded a few times, which is annoying on the PlayStation 4 version, let's be real. And basically none of the dialogue decisions made a difference. It just kept going on in the conversation, into the plot text. It's as if the only choice you have in Fallout 4 is where to go, not what in the quest you do. Like, it just feels so watered down from the other games. In fact, you can't really be an evil character in this game. I don't know if I had a lead into that, but here we go. You can't really be an evil character because of the lack of dialogue choices. All the factions are pretty much good guys to a more or less extent, except for maybe the Institute. Maybe the Institute's bad. I don't know. To be honest, I stopped playing the game because I got so bored within that amount of time. But basically, everyone's kind of out for the greater good. There's no real evil choices in the game. All your companions kind of frown on you for being evil, and that's another fucking problem I have with this fucking game. Fur. Is that the companions are squishy as fuck. When they go into combat, they just get shot to shit and they pass out. And also they suck at stealth. So if you're a stealth character, don't get companions because they're garbage for you. They'll just get you caught. They'll get you seen. They don't have any stealth perks. They'll trip traps and shit. They get in the way. They still stand in the fucking doorway in every Bethesda game, I swear. They just fucking stare there and look at you like you remember us, bitch. We're fucking Bethesda. It's kind of comical, to be honest, now that I think about it. I ended up shooting the dog a million times because he got in my way. The dog got in my way. The tiny animal got in my way. But another thing is, I feel like all the characters are flat as well. Like, I don't really care what they're saying at all half the time. The only companion that I really found useful was Strong, because, I was a punching person who beat people up with their fists and then ate their dead bodies, and Strong appreciated that, and he respected me for it. And that was the extent of our relationship, and that was the most compelling relationship in Fallout 4. Oh my gosh. I just keep thinking back to New Vegas where there was better RP elements, which I should probably talk about. How do you immerse yourself in a game? You're in the apocalypse. What would be a problem in the apocalypse? What would you need? Water and food. In this game, water and food mean dick to you because you don't need them. They're just additional healing items, essentially. Your character can just sit and wait on a park bench for 3 days without sleeping, just with their little fucking Vault Boy smile that you see on the fucking screen. Like, they don't give a shit. They don't need food or water. In New Vegas, that kind of made me invested in that game when you know, the gameplay elements failed. They were, like, simplistic, and they didn't really work as well as other modern shooters, was the fact that here's a game where I can roleplay. I can say this vast variety of things, you know. I could, based on my skills, say this variety of things, succeed in this variety of ways. Like, for example, Easy Pete won't give you dynamite if you don't know how to fucking use dynamite. Like, sounds reasonable to me, right? Not in Fallout 4. Every little check, like I said, I think I've said it, is, you know, based on the speech perk, or being charismatic. What else? I mentioned the hardcore mode. Gameplay is watered down. The settlement system is a little out of place. I mean, it's cool. I did it. That was one thing that kept me in this honeymoon phase, which was kind of, you know, how I went into this game. I went into this game with actually a very happy view. I was very, like, enthralled with the game. I was, like, having a lot of fun, even though I was being limited. But when the honeymoon phase left, I would say about 15, 20 hours in, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing in this game? Like, it's boring the shit out of me. I mean, not to say that Fallout 4 is a bag of negatives. I just think it fails at being an RPG. Like, for example, the gunplay is improved. That's obvious. The shooter mechanics are way better than the Fallout predecessors. You know, VATS is still there. It's pretty cool. The animations are better. Weapon crafting is fucking awesome. You can name your freaking, you know, gun the Pussy Destroyer, you know, just, and give it a suppressor, you know, shit, scopes, and fucking, you know, the positives of Fallout 4. But we're here to talk about the negatives because the internet loves the negatives. But I actually think I covered it decently well. Let me grab my little sheetlet and make sure I did everything right. Oh, I guess we might as well beat the dead horse that is the glitches and performance problems in the game. I mean, it dips constantly. And if you hadn't played the 360 version of the game or the PS3 version of the game, you'd probably be ripping your dick off about how many times the frames drop in this game. It's almost unacceptable. Like, I can't stand this game's engine. In fact, Bethesda, why did you use the Skyrim engine for Fallout 4? Skyrim was an old game. I mean, we've seen what a new graphics engine can do for a game. For example, Metal Gear Solid, 5. Metal Gear Solid 5's graphics were fucking amazing at 60 frames per second, 1080p, for fuck's sake. And that game had great mechanics, advanced shooter mechanics. You could do a bunch of crazy shit in that game. Not in Fallout 4. Fallout 4 feels like a last-gen game on a next-gen console. And that's the sad truth. The only thing I can really boast of the game is that it's not shit and it has a ton of content, which is a good enough sell for a lot of people. But the role-playing aspects have not even been cut in half. They've been, like, downsized to, like, a third or a fourth. It's fucking insulting to the gamer, in my opinion, to fucking do that to a RPG. Fallout 4 is not a first-person shooter. It's a fucking RPG, and it pretends like it's a watered-down version of its, like, former self. Even to the point where the perk system's fucked up. They don't have skills anymore. You no longer invest in skills. Like, it's so less complex. Basically, the only thing you have to invest in is your special. Your special, depending on how high it is, will grant you X amount of perks. And you can invest in those perks, which are a few, like, mostly returning perks. Mostly returning perks. And, like, fuck else. Like, boring-ass perks. It's like, oh, you can do this to give you more endurance. There's no fun role-playing perks. Like, remember, you could have, like, a ladies' man type of character if you spec'd in this special role-playing perk. You had a gay perk. If you were a guy and you chose, like, the confirmed bachelor perk, you would actually, like, say gay things in dialogues, and gay characters would respond to you better. What else? There were some more role-playing perks. Terrifying presence, I think I mentioned it earlier. You could actually be, because you're so intimidating, fucking scare people into submission because it's a role-playing perk. You'd be like, oh, I'm this character's terrifying. What's this character to me? I'm trying to think of more. I'm sure there's more, but I haven't played New Vegas in like a fuck ton of time. There's more dialogue options that I could bring up. Like, for example, if you're good at medicine, you could tell if someone was addicted to drugs, you know, all the good stuff. Or you could actually, like, do some quests quicker. Like, if you have a good science skill, you can repair Rhonda, that robot up in that mountain, the Black Mountain in New Vegas. This game doesn't have any of that shit. It's fucking watered down. The only thing that's kind of positive is that all the junk has purpose now for the settlement system. So like if you're like, ooh, I need some like aluminum, you pick up an aluminum can and you can actually use that to help craft shit at your base. Okay. I think I've talked enough about like my likes and dislikes about, you know, Fallout 4. I've said some negatives. Hopefully you've stuck in through this whole video. It's not too long. About maybe 15-minute requirement on my Elgato because my channel is very small. Let me know what you thought of this game. Do you think that some of these things exist, but it's not enough to detract from your gameplay experience, like my friends that I know? Do you think that what I'm saying is complete garbage and the dialogue's fine and the story's great and God, it's really not. I like if you tell me that, I just won't agree with you. If you tell me the dialogue and story is great, I'm gonna fucking ignore it. Gotta be honest. Even though I'm a small ass channel. I'm an ass channel. We do ass work here. That about wraps it up, guys. This is Player 2 signing out. Bye-bye.